Lo and behold, a bystander that was shot by the police, and so was another fucking cop. What sparked this insane mass shooting that occurred at the New York subway? Oh, that's right. $2.90 in fare evasion. Thank God for the police, dude. Holy shit. Let's get to some good shit. NYPD. Now, for some of you that don't know, the greatest mayor of all time, Mayor Eric Adams, Mr. Polyamory himself, Mr. Fake Vegan Polyamory himself, is a member of the New York's finest. Okay, he was an NYPD police officer. He is now the mayor of New York City, one of the funniest mayors of all time. Now, in the process, predictably, as when you get a fucking cop to be a mayor, the NYPD's budgets have inflated. Meanwhile, there's also a police-on-police violence situation happening in New York City, both in this story that I'm about to tell you, but also in the fact that federal law enforcement have actively targeted Eric Adams for apparently getting a bunch of money from the Turkish government, allegedly. And not only that, but also some of his friends that are still in the NYPD have also been targeted actively by federal law enforcement. I don't know the exact details of this investigation. I just know that Turkey's involved and they gave him money because New York City is the Istanbul of America, according to Eric Adams. There is a shit ton of investigations. Mr. Adams and his associates face an inquiry into the mayor and his campaign's ties to Turkey, an inquiry into senior hall aides and associates, an inquiry into a former police commissioner's twin brother, and other legal matters. That's right. His entire fucking leadership, former NYPD commissioner, like high-ranking members in City Hall, aides, they all have individual investigations launched upon them because they are so motherfucking corrupt. Okay? Like insanely corrupt. Other investigations, Winnie Greco, former campaign fundraiser, multiple home search. Dwayne Montgomery, former police inspector, pleaded guilty to conspiracy. Eric Ulrich, former buildings commissioner, charged with taking bribes. Timothy Pearson, senior advisor to the mayor, he's under active investigation as well, facing several lawsuits, including sexual harassment accusations. Earlier this year, Mr. Adams was also accused. A woman sued Mr. Adams, accusing him of asking for oral sex in exchange for career help in 1993 and sexually assaulting her when she refused. So it's really fucking, I'll be honest, this is the most Chicago New York City has ever been. New York City, the Chicago of America, is what I think. When I see this many investigations into this many high-profile individuals surrounding the fucking mayoral office, I'm not going to lie to you, it feels a lot like is Chicago up in this bitch, okay? In the time frame, NYPD also expanded its budgets for its PR team, an 86-member public relations team, more than double its size 2 years ago. I wonder why so much money is being spent on the PR side. Some of its recent hires have histories of dishonesty and misconduct. That PR team, of course, did the famous Hamas bike chain lie on MSNBC at the heat of the Colombia anti-genocide protests. So there was that. Anyway, once again, I must say ACAB and also motherfuck the police, specifically New York Police Department. Why am I talking about that? Because the NYPD is at it again. In this time frame when the crime panic shit was happening, Mayor Eric Adams decided to do wonderful things like increase the size of the police force in the subway stations. They made it seem as though New York City subway was riddled to the brim with little criminals, okay? Doing insane crimes on a rapid clip. Turns out that wasn't the case, especially with the density of public transit and how many like everyday travelers exist within the New York City public transit system. The number of crimes per daily visitor was actually relatively marginal. One of the biggest crimes, on the other hand, is fare evasion. That's right. Fare evasion is a major problem in New York City. And the only way to solve that problem is by spending multiple billions of dollars, far more than what the fare evasion cost the city, as a matter of fact, in law enforcement. Now, of course, when you put these fucking dickhead cops who just sit around and play Angry Birds on their phones all day, and they get like overtime pay and shit, okay? In these situations, sometimes they're gonna go gung ho when they see a fare evader. Let's take a look.
Opened fire on a subway platform on Sunday after they say a man they were trying to stop lunged at them with a knife. 2 innocent bystanders and the suspect were shot, as well as one of the police officers. Lisa Rosner has the latest from Brookdale Hospital. Lisa.
Cindy, the officer is here in a stable condition. Police say he was shot in the armpit just above his vest. Now, as for the innocent bystanders that were shot, a 26-year-old female is in stable condition at Kings County Hospital, and a 49-year-old man was shot in the head. He is in critical condition at that same hospital. As
to be accurate, police in the subways play Candy Crush. I apologize for my mistake. I said Angry Birds. They're playing Candy Crush instead.
Well as the suspect, who we're told is a male in his 30s, that was shot in the abdomen. Exclusive video shows a man in handcuffs on the floor of the L train who appears to be the suspect. Police say this all started just after 3 p.m. Sunday at the Sutter Avenue station when the suspect evaded the fare. The NYPD says 2 officers told him to stop multiple times. They also tried using tasers, which didn't work. Police say the suspect advanced on one of the officers with his knife, and that is when they drew their guns.
They're subduing him. One of the officers realized that he's...
Dude, local news coverage on the matter is so insane. They are such pieces of shit. They made it seem like these brave heroes, okay, were, you know, in the line of fire and got shot by bullets. Who knows who actually shot the bullets? Oh, wait, they're using passive voice. They don't normally use passive voice when talking about how a cop got shot. Why are they using passive? Oh my God, the cops shot each other. Oh my God. Every single time you hear the media, especially local news, talk about a police being shot in passive voice or a bystander being shot in passive voice as though bullets just materialized out of nowhere, know that there was a cop who pulled the fucking trigger. And yes, lo and behold, a bystander that was shot by the police, and so was another fucking cop. What sparked this insane mass shooting that occurred at the New York subway? Oh, that's right. $2.90 in fare evasion. Thank God for the police, dude. Holy shit.
hit as well. He helped his partner, put the man in handcuffs, and when they saw where the man was wounded, they started performing life-saving measures.
That's also a lie. They did not do that. The only thing they did was handcuff the person. They shot him, and then they handcuffed him. Okay, shot by NYPD bullets. 4 people were shot by NYPD bullets, including a bystander who was struck in the head. No, Gothamist doesn't LARP for the NYPD. I feel like I feel like they're not doing. I don't think Gothamist does passive voice. They're just openly saying, like, you know, the NYPD shot 4 people. NYPD bullets? What the fuck? Is this a new caliber? Oh, here was a fun moment. Earlier today, one of our 4 officers was shot while protecting our subway system. I am relieved to report he's in good condition now, and we have arrested the suspect who put so many lives in danger. I cannot thank these officers enough for their bravery. Context note: the officer in question was shot by a fellow NYPD officer. NYPD officers also shot 2 bystanders and the fare evasion suspect. Officer and 3 others injured by police gunfire and subway station clash. When officers shot a man wielding a knife on a platform in Brooklyn, an officer and 2 bystanders were also hit. The police said 1 bystander was in critical condition. Officer and 3 others injured by police gunfire. A late summer afternoon in an elevator. Okay, I don't want to fucking get into it. Several thousands of dollars in hospital fees to prevent a $2.90 fare evasion. Also, at the minimum, I don't know what the cost associated with, like, you know, jailing someone for an entire year is in the state of New York, but I can tell you in the state of California, I believe it's around $183,000. So it doesn't make mathematical sense to try to actively jail someone because the cost of that is significantly higher. The cost of settlement payments are significantly higher in the process of doing this, like, insane escalation of force. Oh, I'm wondering if journalists have any interest in doing journalism anymore, or they just want to be stenographers with the NYPD. You're all embarrassing. It started because somebody wanted to come to the transit system with a weapon. Somebody who, as the mayor said, had a history of crime and a history of violence and even gun charges, Lieber said. Great. Did they know that? No, they didn't. They did not know that. They shot him because of fare evasion. Okay, first and foremost, they shot him because of fare evasion. Wasn't there a separate story, by the way, where there was a dude with a knife and the NYPD failed to apprehend him, like, I think around the same exact time? Here's Talia Jane. She sent me this link. Let me take a look. Oh man, the NYPD is having a hell of a time. That knife that they said the man they shot on the L train had, apparently they're now saying someone removed it, as in NYPD failed to secure a weapon. They also claim posed a serious threat of harm to themselves and others. The Force Investigation Division is seeking to identify and apprehend an unidentified perpetrator depicted above, who removed the knife from an ongoing crime scene on the L train on September 15th. The subject was last observed on September 15th at approximately 15:35 hours in front of the Brooklyn, New York, within the confines of the 75th precinct. NYPD is trying to arrest someone they claim removed the knife they failed to secure from a man they shot, who they shot because said knife posed such an incredible threat to their safety that they had to shoot multiple other passengers and each other. Violently incompetent. Below is the picture of the weapon recovered from the scene of today's incident. NYPD says officers recovered wrong knife from police subway shooting in Brooklyn. So to recap, NYPD is hunting for a man accusing him of removing a knife from the scene. NYPD claims they recovered the suspect's knife with a photo of it in his hand. Now they say they recovered a different knife. Did they steal that guy's knife? Is there no second knife? Anyway. You don't get it. It's about sending a message that regular people aren't allowed to rob the city of $290, but the NYPD is allowed to rob the citizens of a year of their life and the city $150,000. Yeah. It is kind of crazy to think how incredibly incompetent these guys are. Okay? Yeah. The NYPD spent $150 million to catch fare beaters who cost the MTA $104,000. Now, I'm no big city lawyer, nor am I a CPA. Okay? But it kind of feels to me like if you have a cop who becomes a mayor and then changes and advocates for city budgets that are so massive, okay, so incredibly massive for the NYPD that are already massive to begin with, it kind of feels like you're just giving your buddies more money. And considering that your buddy's job is to just sit around and like shoot people when they feel like it, and maybe sometimes even themselves, it feels like you have brought this upon New York City. One famous story of the crime panic that occurred in New York, I remember talking about it, was when Governor Kathy Hitler, okay, when she became governor, one of the things she did was put the National Guard. She deployed the National Guard in New York City subways. Now, there wasn't an increase in crime in New York City subways that was noticeable or significant, but Kathy Hitler did that anyway. Okay? It turns out people were more scared because the National Guard was at the subway stations. That is the state of affairs in the New York Democratic Party. Never forget, the New York Democratic Party and the California Democratic Party are the absolute worst version of the Democratic Party. These are safe havens where some of the most progressive Democrats are supposed to thrive. Did you see his Richie Torres shit, bro? Just a straight fascist? Oh, I did. I think I know what you're talking about. He came on television and was like, we need to kill students that fucking say Israel is mean.